Testing, testing. Good morning. Welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and in service for justice and peace. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is a historic faith with a progressive theology grounded in love, a love which calls us to see the holy in each and every being and to take compassionate action in our world. In this space, we gather with open minds, open hearts, and open hands to practice acceptance, forgiveness, and growth. We welcome people of all nations, all creeds, all ages, all genders, all cultures, and all kinds of love. So whether you're here every week, came today for the first time, or you stop in once in a while, we celebrate all of who you are and all you are becoming. You are so very welcome here.
Greetings. I'm Marie O'Brien, this morning's worship coordinator. My pronouns are she and they. Reverend Parisa, whose pronouns are she, her, and I are joined by music director Mark David Buckles, he, him, and Hyunju Young, she, her, as well as the Arlington Street Choir. We're happy to lead worship today. We could not do this without our tech team, greeters, ushers, and coffee hour hosts. And today we welcome a youth group from Atlanta. Where are you, friends? Welcome. We're so happy to have you here. If you're new to Arlington Street, welcome. We are so glad you're here and would love to stay connected. I hope you will visit our website at arlingtonstreet.org and sign up for our weekly e-newsletter. If you're in the sanctuary, please fill out the pew card and put it in the basket during the offering time to let us know how to be in touch with you. Zoomers, you can find a link in the chat to a form to fill out and help us stay connected with you. On the last pages of the order of service, you'll find information on upcoming Arlington Street events. There is a lot going on, both in person and on Zoom, and we'd love to see you this week. Just after our service this morning, the Buildings and Grounds Committee invites you to get your hands dirty and your spirit fed by continuing our garden beautification project on the Boylston Street side of the building. Tomorrow evening, join our anti-racism drop-in conversation hosted by our Among team. That's Monday, April 27th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. in the Arlington Street Zoom room. Next Sunday, our worship service will feature insights from the work of the Among team, followed by the annual meeting of the corporation from 12:45 to 2 p.m. We will hear reports on important activities of the congregation this year. We will elect new PRU members and officers and discuss and vote on the budget for the upcoming year. Please plan to come and participate in the core of our congregational governance. And now, Parisa has an update on our covenant renewal.
Hi, folks. We continue to raise our annual commitment for our coming fiscal year that begins July 1st, and we are so grateful for contributions in this past month from Chet Woods, Kimberly Samaha, Lisa Savage, Kel Alford, Jeffrey Thompson, and David Gennaro. That brings our new total to just over $309,000. If you have not yet made your financial commitment for the coming year, it is not too late. If you go to arlingtonstreet.org under Give, you can make your financial contribution anytime you like, and we welcome it. Thank you all for being such a great part in sustaining this beloved spiritual community.
Friends, if you came this morning with a joy or a concern in your heart, you are invited to light a candle at home and share in the chat, or come up and light a silent candle to the right of the Gleason podium at any time during the service. I hope all of you in the in-person congregation will plan to join us in the Honeywell Chapel right through the leather door up front after the service. Those of you in the Zoom room are invited to stay on for remote fellowship and breakout groups as well. And now, Michael will turn the camera on the in-person congregation, and we wave and smile at each other, as well as our friends back in the Zoom room. And all of you in the Zoom room can wave and smile back. Hello to our friends near and far. Let's all engage that Arlington Street spirit of welcome that transcends physical distance as we greet one another heart to heart. Whether you've been coming here for years or today is your first time at Arlington Street, welcome home. Please join in saying the affirmation and covenant of this beloved spiritual community. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another.
Beautiful, thank you. Our opening words this morning are a poem called Instructions Before Visiting Earth by James McRae. In the event that you wake up and find your soul separated from source and manifest into material form, don't panic. Your condition is only temporary. You have been selected for the opportunity of human incarnation. This 3D simulation is designed to break up the monotony of eternity by giving you a fully immersive experience as a distinct ego identity. Your body will serve as your physical avatar as you navigate a dense and dramatic reality. There will be many distractions causing you to forget your true nature and origin. You will experience a range of emotions, from joy to loneliness to despair. But remember, no matter what trials and traumas you encounter, your soul remains perfectly safe. At times, you may feel lost and afraid. This is totally normal. If you ever need guidance, simply slow down your busy mind and bring your awareness to the quiet place inside yourself. On this planet, nothing is permanent. People and things will come and go. You will fall in love and form sentimental attachments only to lose everything you hold dear. So cling to nothing too tightly, even yourself. And it's when it's time to let go with grace, for nothing is owned, only borrowed. As you walk along the people on the planet, try to be a good guest. Tread lightly. Remember that you are only visiting. Don't make a mess. Listen more than you speak. Give more than you take. Don't keep your soft heart locked up in a glass cage, protected from wear and tear. You'll never make it out alive, and time passes quickly. So come back with some battle scars and some good stories to tell. We light our chalice in honor of those good stories we make and share together.
Our opening hymn is Be Thou My Vision. We'll be led by the choir, and the words to sing along can be found in the order of service and on page 20 of the gray hymnal. Let's rise in body, rise in spirit, sing together hymn number 20, Be Thou My Vision.
Not be all else to me, save that
Our reading this morning takes its title from a Facebook comment that made the poet laugh. "It's because they've been poking holes in the sun. Wake up, people!" By Cam McLinn. My favorite boss liked to remind me that we don't know what we don't know. Like the best, sure, there are some things we know we don't know, like the best treatment for pancreatic cancer, how long the next government shutdown will last, or why our lunchroom smells like moldy cakes. These are all knowable unknowns, the kind of subjects you can ask questions about, the kind of questions meaty enough to chew on for decades. Have you realized how easy it is not to know something? If I asked if you knew your mother's birthday, you would answer yes after an uncomfortable pause. If I asked you if you knew my mother's birthday, you would quickly answer no. We can realize what is unknown to us faster than realize what is known. Your mind doesn't have to shuffle through the library catalog of your memory to summon up a non-answer. But the unknowable unknowns are invisible, noiseless, strange. A gap in your teeth that even your tongue can't detect. A language made with tones you can't hear. A hole filled with other holes. In 1908, Kirsten Birkeland theorized that auras were created when the sun's ejected electrons disturbed the Earth's magnetic field. No one believed him about the sun. Surely it was gas or dust or the Earth's own unruly shrugs that caused those flickering colors. When he invented the electromagnetic cannon, it exploded in flames in front of his investors. When he used that cannon to create the first nitrogen fertilizer, his partner took credit and iced him out of the company. For all the things Birkeland knew, he couldn't have known that one day, long after his aurora theories were proven correct, we would debate not the fact of the sun causing auroras, but the fact of who was causing the sun to cause auroras. I still don't know who they are, the ones poking holes in the sun, but I do know that my dental hygienist believes that the reason it didn't rain this summer was because of the military satellites, controlled at the Army base next door. It's unclear if she thinks the mysterious they were doing so intentionally with their chemtrails and space lasers, or accidentally with their overpaid incompetence. I didn't tell her I worked there and was neither overpaid nor trained in weather control. I didn't tell her there really was a building called the Cloud Study Chamber, a rusty sphere where they used to study not clouds, but biological warfare in the 40s. I didn't tell her I researched cancer, not weather. She'd be sure we already knew a cure, but we're keeping it from her. No, I didn't tell her not because of fear, but because she had her fingers in my mouth. Plato thought that learning was just remembering what our souls already knew but forgot. Learning was just remembering what our souls already knew but forgot. What don't I know? And when will I know I don't know it? Here ends the reading.
The reality of it all is that reality is what it is or what we think it is. Why are things the way they are? Who said that the sky was in fact the sky and not the ground that we should walk upon? Makes you wonder, why is green green? What if it's really blue? And is what we think really true? It is said that I think, therefore I am. Are we really thinking? There's something going on, and I don't know what it is. There's a change taking place in my mind, and I don't know how to live. I don't know before the doors were open to the house of wisdom. What do you know about the chosen man? And where in fact is the promised land? It is said that I think, therefore I am. Are we really thinking? There's something going on, and I don't know what it is. I don't know. There's a change taking place in my mind, and I don't know how I lived. Yeah, before the doors were open to the house of wisdom. If we are here, then where is there? And if in fact we're here, then why aren't we there? It is said, I think, therefore I am. Are we really thinking? There's something going on, and I don't know what it is. I don't know. There's a change taking place in my mind, and I don't know how I live. No, before the doors were open, and I don't know how I live. I don't know. Before the doors were open, I don't know how I live. Before the doors were open to the house of wisdom. To the house of wisdom. To the house of wisdom. The reality of it all is that reality is what it is or what we think it is. Why are things the way they are? Who has taught us all that we know? And is it for real?
And is it for real?
Makes you wonder.
Makes you wonder.
Makes me wonder. Makes us wonder. Makes us wonder.
Thank you all. That was wonderful. Special thanks to Maria O'Brien for suggesting that song when she knew the theme this month was reality. A few years ago, I got a text from a friend, and it linked to a social media post featuring a photo of Pope Francis in a white Balenciaga puffer coat, looking like a gangster. After a chuckle, I wondered, is this real? So I tapped that into my phone. I don't know, it looks real, replied my friend. The next day, of course, reports surfaced that it in fact was an artificial intelligence image that had fooled many of us, eager to be entertained by the idea of the Pope in streetwear. These days, the constant question we must ask ourselves whether we're watching a video of an improbably articulate toddler giving a life lesson or reading what we think is the news is this real? Looking real isn't enough to make it so. Is this real? What don't we know? And when will we know we don't know it? Of course, artificial intelligence is just the latest manifestation of the human challenge to determine what's real. We've been arguing about what happened and why, how to explain the natural world, our place in it, and how we come to know what we know for as long as humans have existed. Were the pyramids of Giza built by humans or aliens? Did Moses part the Red Sea? Does our world sit on the back of a turtle? Did Jesus rise from the dead? As much as we modern folks with some education like to think of ourselves as rational, guided by what we have the nerve to call our higher faculties, it's our emotions that are in charge much more of the time. As soon as we've had an experience, we're logging a story about it in our minds, and that becomes what we believe is real. But even when we're living in close proximity, presumably witnessing the same events, we're all experiencing our experience differently. Poet Lewis Jenkins gives a slice of this reality in his poem, Mockingbird. I remember when I was a child, he writes, I had a pair of canaries in a cage in my bedroom. I had the idea that I would raise and sell canaries. I asked one of my sisters if she remembered them. She remembered that they were parakeets, not canaries. I asked another sister. She said she didn't remember any canaries, but she remembered how mean I was to her. My youngest sister doesn't remember having birds, but thinks that we had a pet rabbit. I don't remember that. My brother thinks we had a pet cow that talked. I don't remember a cow, but I remember we had a mynah bird for a while that said, "Hello, sweetie pie." But he belonged to someone else. My mother says she would never have allowed birds or any other animals in the house. I remember how the female canary ignored the male but chirped plaintively to a mockingbird that sang outside my window all summer long. The poet reminds us that in the same room, in the same household, at the same time, vastly different memories of what had to be at least similar circumstances. We can be entertained at this incongruity as we hear the poem, even identify with the wildly different memories among family or friends. But what the poet doesn't get to is what happens when we go from finding it curious and amusing that we have such wildly different perceptions and memories that we call reality, to what it feels like to encounter someone who needs to say that their memory is the one true way it was. Is this real? What don't we know? When will we know we don't know it? Chilean philosophers Humberto Maturana and Francisco Varela, in their book Tree of Knowledge, explore why the apparent firmness of our experiential world suddenly wavers when we look at it up close. They ask how we come to share an understanding of anything. Another writer takes that question to her therapist. If a person has never seen the color blue, never experienced blueness in their creaturely sensorium, she writes, there are certain things you can do to convey to them a knowledge of it. Give them the electromagnetic wavelength of the color and examples of blue things and a conceptual portrait of what blue feels like. But all they will ever do is run around the world with this checklist of criteria in hand, asking, is this blue? How about this? Her therapist pauses for a moment and says, maybe they will never see blue the way you or I see it, but they can have an experience that is entirely new and entirely wonderful, and that will be their blue. They go on to point out instances of blue as perceived by philosophers and scientists. In 1672, German polymath Otto von Guericke held up his finger to a shadow between the light from his candle and the rising sun, and he saw his flesh turn an azure blue of the utmost beauty. The shadow that was created in the absence of light made an optical effect in the contrast between the different light sources, giving his finger a whole new color. A century later, the poet Goethe stopped to admire a yellow flower in the bright midday sun. And when he blinked and looked away for a moment, he was seeing the opposite of the real flower, even though he was looking at nothing. Color becomes not just a function of light, but a function of our perceiving brains, a collaborative creation between our minds and the world. We know now that when an image is too bright and brief for our retinal ganglion cells that carry signals from the brain to adapt to the changing stimulus, it creates that negative afterimage. He could just notice that there was this interaction between his brain and the light. So blue is not what we see, but what we co-create with ourselves and with each other. We are experiencing a world, write the Chilean philosophers, but when we examine more closely how we get to know this world, we invariably find that we cannot separate our history of actions, biological and social, from how this world appears to us. It's so obvious and close that it's very hard to see. We are all experiencing our experience differently, because we have different biological and social histories shaping what and how we know. What don't we know? We love our certainties, and researchers have shown how easily we default to what we think we know, even when we're confronted with evidence to the contrary. Like the case of Anne Friedman, an art gallery owner who for more than a decade sold works presented to her by Glafira Rosales, an art dealer. It later turned out that the whole Rosales collection were forgeries, including one painting that Anne bought herself and hung in her home, believing it was a Jackson Pollock original. She and multiple experts who saw it didn't spot it as a forgery, never even for years noticing that the artist's name was misspelled in the signature. When pressed on this matter, Anne says, even if I had noted that, I would have said, no forger would make that mistake. It wasn't a failure of eyesight as much as a failure of belief. Faced with incongruous evidence, you dismiss the evidence rather than the story. Or rather, you don't dismiss it, you don't even see it. The way we get out of the bubble of our self-confirming experience, the way we make any shared meaning or understanding of reality at all, these philosophers tell us, is love. It's our deepest way of knowing each other, and it's the biological impulse that puts us into a conversation with others in a way that can reshape our insular individual worlds. They write, without love, without acceptance of others living beside us, there's no social process and therefore no humanness. Anything that undermines our acceptance of others undermines the social process. Biologically, without love, without acceptance of each other, there is no social connection. And if we still live together without that social connection, we are living in difference and negation under a pretense of love. We have only the world we bring forth with others, and only love helps us bring it forth. Is this real? We ask ourselves as we look incredulously at news stories. Is this real? We ask ourselves as we have big feelings about what's happening in the world or within our community. It has been said that love is the quality of attention we pay to things, and that where we offer our attention becomes our reality. So what happens when we let go of those certainties and instead ask, what don't I know? And how will I know? When will I know I don't know it? Reality is something we make together, a commitment to share our attention, to lovingly question one another's perspectives as well as our own, and to let ourselves be stretched into new ways of being. In these times, we are being asked to take in so much information. It's tempting to draw really bright lines separating us from what we don't want to consider. It definitely helps us get through the media deluge, and we need to do that to make it through a day or a week. The question of how to turn back the wild conspiracy theories and hate-fueled misinformation that are rampant is far beyond what we can control as individuals. But when we have the opportunity to be together in community, what can we learn from our neighbors who seem to be living in another world if we take the time to get to know them and in the process know ourselves in a new way? The love that drives our co-creation of reality isn't a feel-good kind of love, at least not all the time. It's a practice that asks us to stretch beyond ourselves and make room for one another's truths, to see that the other's truth is genuine and real for them as ours is for us, though we may feel worlds apart. When we resist the urge to dismiss and malign the folks who were caught up in a different version of reality, we are creating a new act of love. We're insisting that we will not dehumanize ourselves or one another by forgetting that we are biologically, elementally, spiritually connected. Whether we ever agree on what is real or what is true is so much less important than our ability to continually learn how to love. The discomfort of our differences doesn't have to be a problem, but a thrilling fact of our biology, an opportunity to deepen our learning and to expand our compassion. It's an invitation to grow our souls in the direction of a place of wisdom that knows far more questions than answers. Is this real? What don't we know? When will we know we don't know it? Let us learn by remembering what our souls already knew but forgot. We belong to each other. We have the power to remake the world by opening our hearts. So let us make it so. Amen.
We now join in our ritual of sharing community candles of sorrow and joy. In addition to sharing our candles of sorrows and joys this morning, let's reach out to one another in the week ahead, staying connected. May these times remind us of how very precious this beloved community is. We need one another. Whether together or apart, may we stay very close. We'll begin by singing "There Is a Love." The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat.
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
We join in sharing our burdens and our blessings, offering the prayers of our hearts to the care of this community. We hear and hold one another's yearnings and celebrations in the depths of our hearts.
A Candle of Sorrow from Robert Willett and Rebecca Parkhill. For our dear friend Richard, whose sister Emer died at the age of 60 after struggling with depression for many years. Holding Richard and his family in our hearts today and in the weeks to come. Emer Burchell, may her name forever be a blessing. A Candle of Sorrow from me for Chicago High School senior Ricardo Navarrete and his mom, Liliana. They were taken into custody last month by ICE after showing up for what they thought was a routine check-in for their active asylum case. A star soccer player, Ricardo was set to graduate from high school and play for a local community college. Instead, for the past 5 weeks, he has been moved around to detention centers in Oklahoma, Louisiana, Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky. This movement makes legal representation very hard. Last week, Ricardo's school friends, teammates, teachers, and neighbors attended a rally to bring Ricardo and Liliana back home to Chicago. May Liliana and Ricardo be returned to their community and reunited with their family. A Candle of Concern and Positive Energy from Laura Pattison for her Aunt Bibi Garfield, who lives in New Hampshire. Bibi will turn 97 this coming Tuesday, and on Wednesday she will have a cardiac procedure in hopes that it will give her more energy. Thanks for your good thoughts. A Candle of Gratitude from Art Nava, who writes, gratitude for the healthcare professionals at Beth Israel, where I had a brief and routine procedure on Friday. I'm deeply grateful for their skill, care, and compassion. which made the experience an easy one. We're truly fortunate to have access to such quality care. I also want to share thanks for a few members of this community who knew I was going in: Marie, Jen Eno, Rebecca Reed, Hala Hazar, and Reverend Parisa. I tend to be fairly private about these things, but the kind and thoughtful messages I received meant a great deal. Especially during this time of transition, those small acts of care are a powerful reminder of the connections that hold us. I'm very grateful and on the mend. From the Arlington Street community, a candle for courage and solidarity, as many plan to participate in the National Day of Action on May Day, this Friday, May 1st. Whether participating in a rally, teach-in, economic blackout, or perhaps joining a walkout, raising funds for mutual aid, or otherwise engaging in collective action, may all feel the power of the people. Our first candle of joy is from me. How many people does it take to guide a Sunday service? Well, today is my first time serving as worship coordinator from the Gleason podium. And behind this one person, there are a host of individuals who shared encouragement and support, including Reverend Parisa, Daryl Waters, Art Nava, Cheryl Sullivan, Rebecca Reed, Kellyanne Weaver, Rebecca Parkle, Harry Kelso, the Among team, and Rick Matoli, to name just a few. I thank them deeply, and I celebrate the way this community comes together behind the scenes to live into our covenant. Our final candle today is a candle of joy from Lois Hartsoff, who writes, "Please join me in celebrating today the birthday of Frederick Law Olmsted in 1822. He was the landscape architect who designed what is now known as the Emerald Necklace Parkway in Boston. It includes the Fens, Jamaica Pond, Arnold Arboretum, and Franklin Park. Olmsted believed that parks could serve as meeting grounds for people of different backgrounds and economic means. Thanks to his vision and the City of Boston funds, we can enjoy natural open spaces today. He also designed Central Park and parks in Chicago, Buffalo, North Carolina, California, Washington, D.C., and Montreal.
For all of the sorrows and all the joys we hold in our hearts, we light a silent candle to remember and to rejoice. May the peace of this sanctuary enter into our hearts as we share a quiet moment together, breathing our prayers for ourselves, for one another, for our country, for all nations, for all beings. Amen.
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
Arlington Street is entirely self-sustaining. It's up to us. Generosity is a key spiritual practice here, and it shows. Thank you for your commitment to our staff, our building, and our beloved spiritual community, which extends beyond these walls. Each Sunday, we share our collection plate with a partner in our mission of love, service, justice, and peace. This morning, our partner is the Mother's Day Walk for Peace, an annual 5K walk and fundraiser held in Dorchester to support mothers and families of murder victims. Known locally and lovingly as just The Walk, it has hosted over 500,000 families since its founding in 1996. Funds raised from the walk support families of homicide victims through the programs and services of the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute, including immediate and long-term care for survivors, youth and multi-generational arts education programming, advocacy for survivor-centered policies, and reentry support for formerly incarcerated people. Let's help them get to their goal of $600,000 for this year's walk. Yesterday at the Watertown Star Market with my sister, I saw Henry Louis Gates Jr. I really wanted to run over to the historian, professor, filmmaker, public intellectual, and thank him for his work. But I thought I'd let him pick up his produce in peace. You may know Henry Louis Gates from the genealogy series Finding Your Roots, from his myriad books on African American history, or perhaps you know Professor Gates as the director of Harvard's Hutchins Center for African and African American Research. Currently, I'm watching Dr. Gates's excellent PBS series on Reconstruction, that post-Civil War era of promise, potential, and pain. During Reconstruction, criminalizing things like homelessness and unemployment created a system for incarcerating newly emancipated people, then forcing them to legally work without pay, slavery in another name, as is often said. Now, while I'm a member of Arlington Street, I live in Chicago, and last week attended a training by the Unitarian Universalist Prison Ministry of Illinois. How grateful I am for UU perspectives on justice and liberation. The prison industrial complex is a heavy topic, but the UU prison ministry leaders broke it down from Columbus to Minneapolis. We heard directly from those impacted by the carceral system while centering our theology of love. This created a space for deep listening and reflection. Our Unitarian Universalist faith encourages me to continue learning, to center those most affected, and to take action for justice. Arlington Street is a community that gives me sustenance and courage. Please take a moment now to join me in giving to sustain our beloved Arlington Street and to the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute. You can give online at arlingtonstreet.org or find instructions in the pews, in the order of service for giving via QR code, Venmo, or text message. You can also mail a check to the church or use the envelopes in the pews, which can be given to the ushers as they come through momentarily with collection plates. Thank you for your generosity.
From the beauty of Hungarian language to the language of music that Mark David put under those words, we give great thanks for meeting our neighbors near and far. Switching it up to a very American expression, our next hymn is Lead with Love. I invite you to rise in body, rise in spirit, and move your body, move your spirit as we sing this song.
All right, I'm going to teach you this one a little bit. Can I have the key, Henju? All right, so I'll sing along, you sing it back to me. It goes like this. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Go. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Go. Put one foot in front of the other and lead. Try those two lines together. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. I think we got it. That's the chorus, and then the other parts are call and response. I'll sing a line. You just sing it back to me. The words are in the order of service, or you can just vibe it. It's really hard not to move during this song, and I encourage you to move. In fact, if you want to do a little step, one foot in the other, of course, you can't walk that far forward, but you can kind of do a little march in place. I think it works really well. All right, let's take it together. A one, a two, a one. You gotta put one foot in front of the other. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. Keep moving. You gotta put one foot in front of the other.
Friends, let us join in our benediction by sending that love we just put our feet in front of each other through our fingers. Zoomers, you're invited to put your hands at the sides of your squares, and those in the sanctuary, hands up, palms out. Send all of that great energy, the power of love that overcomes differences, that brings us together, gives us hope, and helps us shape the reality we want to see in the world. And as you feel that surrounding you from the energy of all those in the sanctuary and in the Zoom chapel, please bring it back to Heart Center and carry it with you into the week and the days ahead. My friends, love is the spirit of this community. Let love hold you until we meet again. The service begins when the service ends. Amen.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go.
We are located at the corner of Arlington and Boylston Streets, across from the Public Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.